That was rude.
So my birth experience was very bad and traumatic, and let me just explain why. The medicine they gave me ended up triggering something in my body where I felt like I was having a panic attack. I was going deaf in my ears were ringing. The medicine that they did to give me the C-section, because at this point I was forced to have this C-section because, again, I was seen as a number, not a human being. And I'm not going to get too fully into that, but they sent me to a specialist on the 1st of July. This person literally couldn't tell the difference between baby B and baby A. I said baby A always resides on my right, and that baby B, Jagger, was on my left. He told me that Jagger was dead in the womb, but you could still hear both heartbeats going. So I'm like, that's not true. I'm like, I need another opinion. I go to another floor, get another opinion. They tell me that they're like, you're 36 weeks and 6 days with twins. Why don't we just call it a day and get you up to surgery? I said, no, I don't want to. But then they threatened with psychiatric people getting involved. And I said, because I disagree? You want me to talk to a psychologist? No. And so I was forced then to speak with a psychologist. I said, either respect my respect of the culture here, but you will respect the culture here. Okay? I'm not asking for much. I'm just asking that you respect me and my boundaries. That is all I'm saying. I'm not agreeing to a surgery that I don't really have any knowledge of other than the 7-layer dip that you have to go through to get to them. No, thank you. And I said, that's not my birthing plan. Please call my doctor down. It took them 2 hours to call my doctor and to even let me use my phone to talk to my husband. They refused to let me record anything until finally I threatened with a lawyer that I was allowed to record and call my husband. They neglected to call my husband for 2 hours, too, until I agreed to a surgery. I tell him, hey, this is what's happening. He comes over there quick with 3 other dudes from his job. These dudes were David, Brad, and, of course, Randy. Randy's the asshole of the group. My husband's usually the asshole of everybody. But Randy was an asshole for me that day. And the reason why was because he was terrified that his best friend of over 10 years was going to lose his son or sons in general. So he was terrified. He goes, if she says no to the surgery, you will listen. He's like, she did not ask for that. You guys had told her that the baby was dead. She's terrified. You wouldn't even let her call her husband. He's like literally going off on one of them. And they were like, well, who's the father? Because he came with 3 different dudes. And I'm married to Dustin. And Dustin's like, I'm right here. He's literally like at my side, asking me if I'm okay, holding me, crying with me, and being just emotionally abused by these people. Telling him, don't cry, she needs to get a surgery, everything will be okay. 99.8% of survival rate. Just says that to him, like that. And then I said, and you call yourself a psychiatrist. I was like, I think you need to get better acquainted with my fist in your face. And I said, it's not the hormones talking. It's me being a bitch. And she finally leaves. And I said, I'm not agreeing to anything until I speak with my doctor. My doctor comes down after like 3 hours of me being on another monitor, being in the hospital, just completely miserable, not being heard, not being respected because I'm 22 and I looked like I was 16 or 15 years old. Even though I kept telling them I'm 22, I've been married for a year, literally been with my husband for 2 years at that point. Before that, and was completely healthy and fine and safe in my relationship. And they asked me, they were like, did you eat this? Did you eat that? Did you drink this, that, blah, 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 blah. Just going off the list of nonsensical questions that I did not need to answer at that point. My doctor comes down. She does another ultrasound. She even did the whole wand up the you know what. And I was like, no thanks. Don't need that. Of course, it wasn't fun. It was just beyond just scare tactics the whole time. I'm 22, not dumb, right? I just want to know if my kid is okay. My kids were fine. She says, you know what? I'm going to do your surgery. I have an opening for tomorrow. Let's get you in. And I said, do you think it's necessary? She goes and says, well, I'm a little worried about your heart. She's like, you did tell me that your Aunt Linda died, your great Aunt Linda died of heart disease. And frankly, with having multiples and being able to push them out may cause too much strain on your heart. She's like, that's the only thing I'm worried about. So again, She's like, but I do have an opening tomorrow. Let's get them out. They're 37 weeks along at that point. You did great. You've already crossed the finish line twice. And a bunch of pregnancies that I've seen, she's like, you're the longest that went through pregnancy with twins. I'm proud of you. You've had a good diet. You've been nothing but a good mother so far, taking care of yourself during this pregnancy. Let me help you at the end of it because I know you're feeling horrible now. I know that they treated you bad. I'm going to take care of you. Okay? So we talked about the surgery. We talked about the survival rate. We talked about what's going to happen to them if something happens. And of course, I said, if anything happens to me, would you be able to save me as well as my kids? She looks me dead in the eyes and says, I can't guarantee you anything, but if something does happen, I will do my very best to make sure you live through it. Sure enough, we go over there to the surgery the next day. Everybody's in the waiting room at this point. My dad crying hysterically. He is 6'10", looks like the Undertaker on a good day, and he is bawling his eyes out. My stepdad's there. He's not really supposed to be there because I really don't like him because, he's treated me like shit for all these years. But he's there, I guess, to support my mom because my mom wanted to go in the delivery room. And so did my stepmom. I really wanted my stepmom in there, but my mom was there and guilt tripped me and made me feel bad for wanting her to be in the room with me. And I was like, she wouldn't be so mean to me. She wasn't mean to me. Then maybe I would have allowed my mom right away. It would have been no question. But I needed the support of my stepmom because my stepmom was like, I'll support whatever you name them. I'll support them no matter what happens. And she's like, we will be out here with our lawyer discussing what we can do if something happens to you. Because, again, they knew that I did not want my mom near my kids. But my mom wanted to be there. She said she would film it. She's filming it up until they cut me open. That's when she's turning off the camera. Then she notices that my eyes are rolling in the back of my head. And she's telling Dustin, look, are you seeing what I'm seeing? She's getting all shifty-eyed at this point, and she looks over at the anesthesiologist, and she elbows my husband, telling him to say something. He's like, hey, something's wrong. And, of course, my heart is lower. My heart rate's going really, really low, really fast. My ears are starting to ring, and I'm panicking at this point, telling them I can't hear anything. And then all of a sudden, my heart stops. Beep. That fucking noise. I flatlined. And the next thing I know, they're pulling out the kids as extremely fast as they can. I can feel it, and it hurts. And, the numbing was already there, but it's like now they're really going fast. So they pull out Jackson. Wah! Crying all over the place. He's fine. They pull out Jagger, and Jagger was not crying. And that's when, all of a sudden, I, really feel out of it. And I can just tell you that when I finally came through, and they did resuscitate me, it only took 2 minutes, because they were very efficient on getting the kids out. I hear this, and they tell Dustin, you need to go to the NICU with us. Can your mother-in-law stay with your wife, right? And stay with the mom. And he's like, Lisa, and she goes, yeah, go. And she's already panicking at this point. And then she's trying to hold Jackson. She's like, can I hold Jack? And they were like, no, we just need to get his APGAR score or whatever. And then they were doing that. They were getting me. And then all of a sudden, as if I'm just this baby vending machine again, my doctor leaves the room because she has to go wash off, make sure everything is good. She's going to do another follow-up with me in about maybe another hour because she had also been paged to another C-section. So they get me all in the recovery room, and they try to ask me if I can slide over to the other gurney to get me to the recovery room. I couldn't move. So they had to lift me, and they complained. Then they put Jackson on me as they put me into the recovery room, and I was vomiting afterwards, right? Because when you have a C-section in your stomach, everything is just once you get the feeling back, you start shaking uncontrollably. You're vomiting. Sometimes you don't even know if you could vomit because you're afraid you're popped out your stitches. And that's what happened to me. That's part one of the story. Then part two gets really, really messy and dodgy at that point because for 3 weeks after that, my body hurt tremendously. And C-sections are no joke. They're not the easy way out. In fact, they're the hardest thing to go through.